listening to the Energy is Love podcast.
This time I'm not going to sing Shady's Back. Eminem.
Oh.
Because, I mean, you're back. You're not back. I mean, you weren't gone. You weren't gone from last week or from 2 weeks ago. Anyways, Stephanie's here. Thank God. That's not a normal or unusual for you listeners, but we've had a very hectic month of October. And we missed last week's episode, which is fine. That's just the way it goes sometimes. It's no big deal, right? We'll make up for it. And here we are.
Here we are.
So fucking happy.
Yes.
Are you happy?
I'm actually really happy.
Me too.
To be recording.
I know how to drink.
So happy you squirted.
Oh my God.
That you know.
I just messed up our our used table.
Right.
I have a notepad.
You do. I have
I have
my phone, my drinks, my sparkling personality, my charm, my wit.
I have a notepad.
Pizzazz.
I'm going to start taking notes.
Are you?
I feel like
That's a good idea. You did put a notepad there, and so that I can see how that threw you off.
It is. It's a completely different thing.
I know. You had your computer there, and you were okay. One time.
I know, but now I'm like,
you've got paper.
Hold on a minute. I have to jot that down.
What is it? Cannotate?
1 minute.
Cannotate?
1 minute and 30
annotate.
seconds.
Is it annotate or cannotate?
Stephanie said annotate.
There you go.
There you go. See? That's what the notes are for.
Yeah.
Now it's going to be reminders for me throughout the episode and little markers and things like that. It's going to make my editing a little bit easier, as well as like sometimes we get going and I have things that I want to say that get lost.
So you're going to take notes so you don't forget what you're saying?
Yeah. Or if there's a topic that I want to cover.
So you're going to really be actively listening to me, I can tell.
I am. I can multitask. I'm going to actively listen,
and take notes so you don't lose track of what you want to say.
I'm going to do all of these things while high.
Oh.
So we'll see how things go.
I don't get to see your handwriting very often.
Do you like my handwriting?
I do like your handwriting.
I think I write like, I have like a weird...
Sorry.
I write like my parents, but blended.
Do you?
Yeah. My dad has very unique handwriting.
Yeah?
And he writes almost exactly identical to his dad.
Really?
To my grandpa. Yeah. And I'm somewhere in the middle between him and my mom.
I get a flare of my mom's handwriting every once in a while.
Isn't that interesting?
But not really. And nothing like my dad. No, I don't. Yeah.
What do you think that is? Like, why do we...
I wonder what the biological father's handwriting looks like. I wonder if it looks like his.
Yeah.
If there's like somewhere in there. I doubt it.
I doubt it too. I don't know why we would, like, why do you think that's a good thing?
Are you going to... You're going to take a note? I'm like, you got a notepad.
Hold on, I have to jot this down.
You're going to Google.
Yeah. There's so much that we have to talk about.
There is so much that we have to talk about. First of all, I didn't get to talk about it last week, or not last week because we missed last week. But when we recorded the I'm Back.
Our podcast.
We recorded the I'm Back podcast.
The last episode.
Corey's was, I think it came out that day or whatever. So I hadn't listened to it yet. So I didn't get to talk about Corey's podcast. Remember the guest co-host?
Yes, real quick.
The famous Corey. Okay.
People whose handwriting is extremely similar to their parents didn't inherit it. They simply copied it, maybe even subconsciously. The tendency often occurs during adolescence when the writer is developing and experimenting with his or her handwriting. That's kind of what I thought. Okay.
Yeah, that's why I have hints of my mom in there.
Yes. Corey, episode 262, guest host.
Corey Jones.
Such a stud, right?
Oh my hell. So I loved that episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good episode.
Like 20 minutes in, and I was just like all these boom feelings, and it was engaging, and I was into it, and I had a thought, but I thought, like, I don't know, like I feel if somebody was going to be able to take my place, it would be Corey. Like, I have a thought. Do you want to hear my thought?
Nobody's taking your place, but yeah, let's hear your thoughts.
Okay. So
he is a handsome man, but I'm not sleeping with Corey. He is a very
handsome man. So, even though he ended this by saying how he's like kind of distancing himself, he's pulling away from social media, and this he's leaning towards Offgrid. So this probably won't happen. But I'm comparing apples to apples here. So you got Tom Segura and Christina P.
Yes.
And then you've got Craig Salazar and Stephanie Salazar.
Like apples to apples.
Do you know where I'm going?
God, yeah. Let's hear it.
I think there should be a Craig and Corey version of Tom and Bert because you guys were phenomenal.
Yeah.
Seriously.
That could be a thing.
You've got good karma.
That could be a thing.
Not karma. I mean, you guys do have good karma. You have good chemistry.
Yeah.
You're both, and it's like really engaging to listen to both of you go. And there's so much. I'm like, this could get so, like, it was already so good, but the depths and the levels that you two could take it. I mean, you'll have to keep us still as a podcast because you and Corey are going to take off, but I still want to do this for fun.
We could do
really,
another
really
podcast.
You could.
Yeah. So like for those of you that don't know who Christina P and Tom Segura are, they're comedians.
You don't need to because you're going to have Craig and Steph and then Craig and Corey. So you're good.
So Tom and Christina have a podcast called Your Mom's House. And then Christina has one or two. I think she's only got one. She may have two other podcasts that she does by herself. Tom has another one that he does by himself.
If I start one, will you edit it for me?
And then I will.
Yeah?
Yeah, I have thought often about you and some other people. Like you have, yeah. Anyways.
Do I have a
This is a really good rabbit hole.
This is a good rabbit hole because you and Corey, like the way that you two spun and what happened during that podcast, I was like, oh, there's something here.
Yeah.
There's something here.
Yeah, we could
And
do
then
it.
he's like talking about how he's going off and gonna pull away from all this stuff. I'm like, wait, so you can't, like, do we know how his interview ended up going with the other medic interview that he went to?
No, I haven't followed up with
I was in the car like, don't do it. No.
I know.
So if he didn't, jump back into the ship that or the island that he just escaped from, I really think that you guys have good chemistry.
Yeah. Well, it could be a thing.
You should talk to him about it. Maybe he'll listen to this episode.
There you go.
I don't know if
podcast.
he's a big a fan of me as I am of him though, so he might not be listening.
That would be fun, but that would be a lot of work. But that's okay.
Yeah.
Because of the whole mindset that we've shifted, right?
Yeah. So
the year of the podcast.
I'm a big fan.
We're going to be doubling this podcast. Yeah, that would be fun. We could come up with a new name.
And even if like that's too much, then just like whatever, just come on and do every once in a while, do a guest co-host.
Yeah.
Just you two, just do it every once in a while.
Yeah.
Because it's good. It's good. I mean, you've had, there's good people on here and I know I haven't said it about, it's okay. Other people have been great too. But there's something special about you, Corey.
He's a good guy.
There's something you guys had. Really
it's a good idea. That's something we'll have to put
this is how important I thought it was. Are you ready?
Did you put it on your list?
Feeling of Craig and Corey podcast. It made the list and shit doesn't make my list. I'm like, all right, it's fine. That I was like, I can't forget. Yeah. I had to put it on my list.
Yeah. That's so much extra work, but that's okay.
Maybe you just start off by doing it like
every so often he comes on.
Because it's good. It's really, really good.
Yeah.
It's really good.
We'll see.
You guys have
good chemistry, huh?
You guys have good mojo together.
He's a good guy. I really like Corey.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I had him come on and guest host, right? Because we always have fun conversations and
I mean, I
like hanging out with him.
Sorry that I'm going to miss it and that I'm only going to get to hear it after the effect. Or after the fact.
After the effect.
That too. But I feel like, maybe every once in a while I can talk to both of you because I like them too. But it was something that was really unique.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I was also just a little bit nostalgic over what it was like to hear you on a podcast again and hear because I used to just listen to you and, but this was good.
Yeah.
It was good.
It was a good episode.
It was good. So.
Yeah. Go back and listen to it if you haven't heard it. It's 2 episodes ago.
I really like it in case you haven't noticed.
Episode 262.
It is my Stephanie seal of approval.
We are on Rumble. That's an update. If you are listening to this and you want to watch us on Rumble and you're a fan of that platform, you can go find the podcast there now as well. If you don't know what Rumble is, just Google it.
I didn't know what Rumble was.
Yeah, just Google it. Did you know it has a...
it has a what?
It's got like a negative stereotype associated
rumble?
with it because of...
is it political?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
It's like the right-wing...
What?
Not social media, but video platform that came out during the... it's been around for a while.
So it's pro-Trump, basically.
It's not pro-Trump.
You put us on a pro-Trump
It's not
platform?
pro-Trump platform.
What is it?
It became popularized during the Trump, his presidency, during his time in office, because of all the restrictions that YouTube was putting into place and is continuing to do so. So Rumble sells themselves as a kind of a more of a free, I mean, yes, they have guidelines and community guidelines and everything like that, but the people that were getting like banned and restricted and kicked off of YouTube went to Rumble.
Okay.
So you can go watch the podcast there. I mean, it's just it's diversification, right?
Diversification.
One more option of where people can find us, which is a good thing.
Okay.
Right?
Right. It is a good thing.
It's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
We did a poll today on Instagram.
Did we?
Yeah.
Okay. I remember answering something.
It was
it a
about
poll?
dreams.
Yeah.
Do you remember your dreams?
I said yes, but it's yes and no.
So 67% of people remember their dreams.
67%.
Yeah, which I was surprised by.
Yeah?
I would have thought that it would have been less.
Oh, okay. I would have thought more.
Yeah. I think that, I mean, do you really think more, like, I don't think a lot of people remember their dreams.
I've never polled it before.
I mean, the poll said 67%
It said, okay, well,
of people that responded to our Instagram
I guess just
poll.
because dreams are such a known thing, it's like, I would have figured a lot more. It's not like dreams, what? I mean, even Brandy Carlisle, what does she say?
Dreams. I listened to that today when I picked up Asher. Where was I going with the dream thing?
67%.
Oh, that stemmed from your dream this morning, which we don't have to talk about. That's not why I brought it up.
That dream sucked.
But I think it's an interesting, because you and I dream differently, obviously.
We do.
But we react differently to our dreams.
We do. I have a heart, and I'm just kidding.
Steph will dream something and wake up, and it will affect her entire morning and potentially the entire day and potentially the entire week.
I'm emotional.
And that's a beautiful thing. By the way, I forgot to tell you before we pushed start.
What?
Remember.
Bring
it all. Don't hold anything back. Bring everything that is you.
I will try.
This podcast, this world, this place, everything needs more of Stephanie.
Is that a fact?
It's
there a poll?
100%.
I need a poll first.
78% of people
78%
have responded and said they need more of Stephanie.
Really?
So don't hold back.
I would take those numbers with immense gratitude.
Why do you think you react to dreams so much the way that you do?
Because I feel them so strongly, because my dreams are really, really vivid.
Yeah.
And they're intense. And so I am experiencing them. So when I come out of them, I'm still feeling all of those feelings. It takes a while for the for it to feel like a dream and not like a memory, and not like something that, getting through, not something that happened. It takes a while for my reality to, I mean, I know it's a dream. It's like cognitively, I'm aware. I'm not over here being like, oh my God, there's a werewolf under the bed, but my emotional body has a really hard time with it. So it just takes a while before I can really separate my emotional body from it.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're intense.
They are.
They're intense.
I have some really intense dreams.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll affect me a little bit.
Yeah.
They'll stick with me for a while, but by and large, I just kind of wake up and move on.
Yeah.
It's just a dream.
And I like to talk about my dreams too. I want to get into detail. I want to talk about, I want to hear dreams. I want to share dreams. Dreams are a big.
I'm your ultimate dream interpreter.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah, you are.
Like, you'll have a dream that you get stuck on and you're like, I don't know what this is about.
And
then usually I give you some direction, and it's usually pretty accurate.
It's really accurate. And then I'm like, there it is. And I can do that for other people, but I cannot do it for myself.
Do you know why I'm able to do that for you?
Because you know me so well.
It's not just a matter of because I know you so well, but when that happens, I truthfully I don't. I'm trying to think of how to describe what it is that I do.
You don't get bogged down by the emotion that I get in with it. You get to look at it from the outside instead
of. No, I mean, all that is true and that helps, but I literally go to a different place where I show up for that process.
Yeah.
It's a thing in our relationship where you're like, I need help interpreting this dream. And you don't necessarily say it exactly like that, right? It's usually like, oh my God, I don't know what's going on. It's like a dream. It's so scared.
This happened.
I'm like, okay.
Do you know what you did? Do you know what I did?
So then I'll listen, but I listen very much with the intention of like hearing the things that stand out and resonate. And then I give you that information.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's a thing.
Thank you.
I think dream interpretation is legitimate. Like, I think it's definitely
legitimate.
Right. I think
there's books on it.
I don't know if they have like a purpose.
Oh, what dream?
What would be the purpose of a dream?
I
know that there's a lot of like, let's make it simple, because there's a lot of reasons behind why we dream and the purpose of it, right? It's a multitude of things. Sometimes it's just the activity of our brain. Sometimes it's very specific, stuff that we're dealing with in everyday life. But like, if you had to just pinpoint the reason behind dreams, what would it be?
Messages.
Mm-hmm.
If I only can pick one, I think it's messages that we are receiving. I think it's downloads. And I also think it's showing us where we are at emotionally in ways that we can't really understand or tap into until like our subconscious plays it out. So that's still a message.
Yeah.
So I think it's messages. Or, we've said before, what if it's actually another life we're living? What if it's all these, maybe this is the dream.
What if it's a connection?
What if every time you dream, it's all the other dimensions you're in? So every dream is actually your reality.
Right. What if it is?
What if it is?
Like, that's kind of what I lean towards, is that the dream is connection. That's the purpose of the dream. It's connection to something, whether it's another dimension, whether it's another life, whether it's information, insight, whatever it is.
See?
That's the purpose of it, is connection.
And you wonder why I'm so affected by them when I have them. Of course I am. No wonder I'm over here like, oh, somebody forgot to silence.
I have a question for you.
I have an answer.
My podcast list of things to talk to Stephanie about is huge, because we haven't got, this month we've been busy and we haven't had a lot of time together.
Look how fast I silenced it. Missed that call.
Good job.
Decline.
So my list is really long. First off, I want to come. I've had a couple of trips this month where I had to fly. There's something that I want to talk about, and it's something that I've thought about so many times when I'm at the airport and I'm doing the whole thing.
It's the Denver airport, isn't it?
No.
You saw it, didn't you?
I didn't. I kind of forgot to look for it. But I kind of did. I was really high when I was at the Denver airport. Anyways, airports are such a good example of society as a whole.
Okay.
So there's like a structure set up at the airport, and it's not just at the airport, but it's like with flying in general.
Okay.
There's a structure set up, and it is like this little tiny microcosm of what society is all about. Because in our culture and in society as a whole, not just in Western culture, but kind of across the board, when it comes to the world, money talks, right? We have placed so much significance and importance on money that it is kind of like at the very top of the list.
Okay.
And at airports and on planes, if you pay more money, you literally get to butt in front of everybody else.
Yes.
So it's this perfect example of like the rich just get to walk on top of and over the poor and go first.
Yep.
And it's like watching it in action, whether it's going through TSA, right? And you've signed up for your super fast pre-check and you can just breeze on through, right? Or if you have a first class ticket, you get to go through security quicker as well. And then, of course, when it comes time to get on the plane, right, they have the whole now boarding section, now boarding this. They board all the fucking rich people first, and then all the fucking poor people last. And they give the rich people more room, right, than the poor people. And I mean, it's been that way forever, right? That's the way it was on the Titanic, right? Steerage and everybody underneath and all the rich people up top. But I was watching it this last time I traveled, and just how disgusting it was and how fucked up it is, because I'm standing there waiting in line and I'm getting angry at these people that are walking in front of everybody. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, how fucked up is it that, oh, you just pay more and you can go in front? I think that's so wrong.
I do too.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And the whole thing about it is, like, the reason why it is that way is because we have set money up as the most important thing. Like, I think that when it comes to travel, it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be like, first off, every seat should be like first class. Fucking flying's expensive enough, right?
Right.
And it should just simply be, let's board that fucking plane from the back to the front.
Exactly.
Right? That makes the most sense.
It
That's
does.
the quickest, most efficient way. That's the one thing that was nice about flying during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Was that's the way that they boarded the plane.
Mm-hmm.
But it makes no sense to me why we don't just do that. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're sitting in the back of the plane, that doesn't mean anything like you're poor or you couldn't afford the front of the plane, because everything's the same. And we just board from the back to the front. Mm-hmm. And as far as going through security, it's when you fucking get there, right?
Right.
It's like, who shows up first? That's who gets the first of the line. Like, if you want to be there super early and get through security, then you can do that, right? That's what it should be. It shouldn't be, oh, I can just pay more money and go in front of everybody.
I agree.
I think that's really fucked up.
I do too.
That's my little soapbox for this episode.
I have a question for you with that.
Mm-hmm.
So, you are equal playing grounds when...
Don't look at my list. You can't laugh at my list. I'm making mental notes. This is streamlining the editing process as well as clips and all the fucking shit that I have to do to create content for all of our social media, YouTube. Like, we're spreading out, Stephanie. That takes work. I'm taking shit seriously. So now I have a marker. Craig's soapbox at 23 minutes. Stephanie laughing for the last time because I'm going to kick her ass. Don't laugh at my list.
I will not look at it anymore so I don't laugh. I'm sorry. I've been under a lot of stress. It's an emotional...
Draw dicks on this fucking list.
You and Stevie. Okay.
What's your question?
Oh my goodness. Oh, that actually made my head hurt a little bit. So you're equal playing fields when it comes to money, and things should be equal.
Not when it comes to money, just in this context of travel.
Just in flying?
Yeah, go ahead. What's your question?
Well, I think you just answered it, because my spinoff that I know you're opposed to, I'm like, well, what about this? It's the same thing, even though it's not about, like, it's about equality, but you just clarified that it comes only to when flying. So my question you just answered by saying no, it doesn't apply to anything else other than flying. So just when it inconveniences you,
no,
it applies.
No, I think money is that's another thing that's on my list.
Which one?
This came from a recent podcast episode with Jewel. She was on Rogan, and they talked about a lot of stuff.
Jewel was on when I was gone?
She was. She co-hosted an episode. And I'm going to butcher this to some extent. Okay. Are you ready?
Maybe.
Native Americans.
Mm-hmm.
They value...
It's the start of a Native American Heritage Month.
November?
Yeah.
Okay. So they value the earth. They value the planet. They value nature, because that's the thing that sustains them, right? Obviously, it sustains us as well. I'm not saying just Native Americans, but that's the relationship with the planet, relationship with, like, the food and the animals and the water, and such respect and connection, because it literally sustains their life, right? That's how they survived. So it's like, why the hell would you not respect the thing that is feeding you and housing you and caring for you and providing everything for you? So that amount of respect and acknowledgement and reverie for the thing that sustains life.
Okay.
At some point in our culture, we took that concept and that idea and that human nature, and we flipped it and made money the thing that sustains us now.
Yes.
So now we apply the same focus and importance and significance
to a make-believe thing
on just money, because money is how we sustain ourselves, right?
Yes.
How do we get clean water? Money. How do we get a roof over our head? Money. Food. All these things that sustain life and that keep us safe are directly correlated and connected to money.
Yes.
It's so fucked.
Yes.
Right? It's so fucked. And that's the whole thing that, like, everything right now that's been going on in society, on the culture, planet, everything that's been going on, the more and more that I hear things, the more and more I look into things and really look at stuff, you're like, how can it be that way? Like, I've been watching that series Dope Sick, right?
Yeah.
And Big Pharma and Purdue and how they did all of these terrible, like, it's so mind-boggling to think that
I just watched some of that stuff play out in real life currently.
Yes.
Even though there's all of this awareness that they're not supposed to be doing this and these lawsuits, I watched it play out again.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, she said no.
Where was I going?
Sorry, I just thought money, instead of valuing money instead of the earth. God damn it.
Oh, all of these things that happen.
Yeah.
The end reason behind it is money.
Yes.
Like, all of that.
Money.
Like, you look at what's going on with the virus, with vaccines, with everything that's going on in the political system. We talked about homelessness last week,
yes.
Or 2 weeks ago, whatever. All of these things, you're like, why can't we change this? Why is it like this? Why are this group of people or this corporation or this government or this politician or whatever? It all comes back to fucking money.
Yeah. Like,
the fact is, people will literally pay more money to walk past you so that they can butt in front of line and sit at the fucking front of the plane and ahead of everybody else. And they don't give two shits about it. And it's really, really disgusting.
Yeah.
And it's really, really sad. So how do we fix it? What do you think? How can we start valuing things more than money?
Or we stop care. I think it's a choice, an easy choice where you can start to do that.
Start valuing things more than money?
Like, yeah, it just takes, going within. However, I don't feel like the planet will do that. I think it'll take a catastrophic event to where money is insignificant anymore.
Or it's gone.
Like the wipeout of it. And then, I don't know, they'll figure something out. Curtains. Who's got more curtains? I don't know. They'll find something for currency on that will have nothing to do. I don't know. Like, I want to say, like, there's a way and it's there, but it feels like money has taken such a role that the value of even, like, trade and barter for goods will be gone. It'll be insignificant things. Like, I don't know, old cell phones or something. They'll find something insignificant to put the monetary value on. So I don't know how. I think you can fix it individually, but I'm being a little pessimistic and feeling like it can't be fixed globally.
It's sad, huh?
Yeah. I want to be optimistic, like there's a way, but right now I'm just...
Well, it's just the level of significance that we've placed on it, right?
Yeah.
Where it's that same thing where we place the same level of significance on money that, indigenous cultures placed on the planet, on water, on their food, because it's literally what kept them safe and sustained their life.
That's how they see it now. It's like you have the money, so you're going to be able to buy the water, because when that catastrophic thing happens, who's going to get the water? Mm-hmm. It's not going to be, there's enough for everybody, right? I've heard that. You've heard that. But that's not how it's divvied out, though. It's who has the money to hoard it. Mm-hmm. So I want to be optimistic. Can you see an optimistic way?
What if we got rid of money?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if something happened and we didn't have it, a value is going to be placed on some other non-value item. I see that it's had so much power and so much greed that it's not going to be apples and lettuce and water. It's not going to be the goods. It's literally going to be asshats that are going to say, teacups.
Are the new?
It's going to be something without value that they're going to put the monetary value on. It's like it's Bitcoin, cryptocurrency.
Is that what they're doing now? You think is that kind of what's playing out now with Bitcoin and with crypto and everything like that?
That's kind of what I see it. I mean, I don't know if I'm right, but that's what it looks like to me.
But it just feels like the same, right?
It feels like the same. They came up with another way. Now
Exactly.
it's like throwing it this way.
It's just
and
a
it's
new
all
name.
digital.
That's all it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it looks the same to me.
I had a thought experiment in my own head. If in that world that you just talked about where money disappeared, right? Imagine, this is just for you to close your eyes for a minute. Okay.
Should I close them for real?
Yeah,
okay.
Close them. Just imagine that we wake up tomorrow, and it's not to say that there was like an asteroid or some, nuclear war. Nothing drastic happened.
Just wake up.
But we wake up tomorrow and the world is back in the place of hunters and gatherers.
Yes.
It's not to say that suddenly we wake up in a cave or a hut or sleeping out under the stars. Still wake up in our house, but everything shifted and changed. And now it's the world of hunters and gatherers again.
Okay. So is it like no power? No.
Nothing.
No. Okay.
Do we survive?
Do we survive?
Meaning you and I.
Do you and I survive?
Do we survive? If tomorrow, that's where we're at. Hunters and gatherers.
My initial reaction is, yes, of course we survive. Look at us. Of course we would. And then I think, how are we living now? And if I look at it like how we are actually living now, we are also living in a way where we put value on money. We don't have a garden.
Yeah.
We're not hunters. We don't have like a way to collect our water. So we are totally living off of counting on the value of money to get us what we need.
Yes.
So if I look at it that way, and then I'm like, oh.
Do we have the skill set to tomorrow switch and survive?
Could we tomorrow switch and survive?
Because it's a lot harder, I think, than people realize, right?
You do. But I don't think I do.
We're together.
Well, I'm given that, like, I'm going to do what you say, right? On this, if that happens, you're going to have an obedient wife, okay? I will go back to that.
It's not going to be a lot of hunting and gathering. It's going to be a lot of blowjobbing.
Okay. I'm going to need, never mind. Don't get mad when I start chewing, okay? Because I'm going to get hungry.
This meat's not bad. Yeah, it turns out I like meat raw. I think we'd survive.
I know you have the skills, and I think I could learn.
Because we have
right
shelter.
Now, I do not have the skills to survive.
I think you do.
Do you think I do?
I really do.
Do you think I could figure it out?
I know you could.
Well, then why aren't we doing more of that? Why are we being so lazy and counting on money to get
Because we are
vegetables?
being lazy. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's laziness. It's complacency.
Yes. Well,
that's what money does, is it makes us lazy.
Doing it different. We can't okay, what do we do in the winter? We haven't harvested anything. The winter's coming, so we don't have.
It's gonna be rough.
It's gonna be a rough winter.
It's gonna be a rough winter.
We're gonna go on a carnivore diet.
We're gonna go on the no food diet. It's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
A lot of
scavenging. Get water.
Melt snow. Hopefully, if we have snow.
We don't have. What if we don't have snow?
Then we'll have to go find water somewhere.
How are we gonna purify it?
Burn it.
Yeah.
Fire.
Okay.
Right. We got pots. We have everything that we need.
You're going to turn me into a survivalist. Like, starting today, I want to be as good as Lee. What's his name?
Lee Strauss.
There you go.
The one thing that I don't have is the knowledge in regards to, like, I can kill stuff.
Yeah.
I know how to kill things.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to take care of it after I kill it.
Right?
That's a really important part.
I know you have to gut it fast.
Sometimes. Not necessarily.
I think you have to gut it fast. Because things start like spilling and spoiling.
Yeah, over the course of time, right? Of course, but it's not like immediately you have to gut it.
I think you have to gut it fast.
It's not like you have a 15-minute window to gut a deer before the meat spoils.
No, I don't think you have a 15-minute window, but I think you have to gut it fast.
It all has to do with temperature and stuff like that.
I think you should Google that. I think you should look at that. I think you have to gut it fast. I'm going to hold on to this one.
How fast?
This is my I'm locked in. Final answer. How fast? I don't know how fast. But fast. Like, you don't have a lot of time. And I'm not talking like you got 5 minutes. I'm just like, you can't. You've got to get to where you can gut it quick. Other it's going to start spoiling.
So small game, you have to. And rabbits and things like that.
Okay. So there's one. There's 1 point for Steph, right?
If you wait too long to recover the deer, the blood will spoil and ruin the meat. The old bow hunter's rule is to wait 8 to 12 hours before following a gut shot deer. If you wait that long, when it's 50 degrees or above, your intentions may be good, but there's a good chance where you'll lose the meat. It has a lot to do with temp.
Okay, so you're
like when it comes to bigger deer and like bigger game and things like that.
I would not have guessed 8 to 10 hours.
Sooner's always better.
See, I told you, you got to go fast.
Yes, but it's not to say
contributing as a survivalist, I'm already on my way. I'm just gonna come out of the weeds with a blade in my teeth, like her.
I've got it.
Get it. I got this. I am a survivor.
I have a general idea of what that process looks like.
Do you?
So I think I could obviously figure it out, and we'd have a lot of like fucking up, but I think I could figure it out, and we would be all right.
How would you get past the emotional part of killing the animal?
It's not hard for me.
Okay, how would I get past the emotional part of killing the animal?
Because
I would.
As soon as you realize.
I could do it to feed my child.
Exactly. Like as soon as you realize that this animal is going to sustain us for the next 3 months.
I could do it to feed my child.
Right.
But we would use everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
That's why we would immediately revert. Like we're not. I think people in their heart are that's the type of people they are, right? We're not. People aren't shitty. Like that's the whole thing. It seems like people are shitty because there's so many.
There's some shitties.
But we see the shitty side of people is what it really is. Everybody has a shitty side.
And do you think if all of a sudden there's no money and our food is based off of hunting and gathering, the way society is now, do you think that we would see the good or the bad?
I think we would see so much bad.
Yeah.
For a while. And then we'd see the good.
I hope.
I think what would happen. I mean, in my thought experiment here.
Okay, what if where all of a sudden everything was gone? We were back to hunters and gatherers. And because we can do that, right? That can happen in your made up world.
Yes.
So then one other caveat that could happen is, and everybody is connected to their hearts. Why did you laugh?
No, that's a good thing. That was really cute too, what you just did. If you're tuning in, go to. I got to mark this down on my list. They're timestamp 38 minutes.
Timestamp.
Stephanie made a very cute gesture with her arms. Putting that on my list. Cute gesture. This list is going to be fucking useful. You wait and see.
It is. I know it is.
I got to get a new pen though.
Okay, why did you laugh?
I'm going to be doing that. Indefinitely.
Is that why you needed a brand new pen?
For this list?
For your brand new notepad?
Yeah.
For your.
Taking shit seriously. Look, I got the fucking name of this is episode 264. Don't get me wrong.
I like office products. I get excited over pens. I get excited over Post-its. I get excited over paper. I get excited over binders.
So you think we'd survive?
Have we got ink yet? I still need ink. I have more shit to print.
Okay.
I like office supplies.
Anyways, so you think we'd survive?
Yes.
We need to do away with money.
Kaboom. Could we do it?
Do away with
I want to do it.
Like us?
Like how cool would that be?
Like there's nothing. Corey and I talked about this a little bit.
No, you guys got me thinking.
There's nothing stopping you and I from living that way. There literally is. Exactly.
We could do it.
The only thing that's stopping us is fear and laziness. Because we could sell this house today, pay off all of our debt, and have money that we could then go invest in a piece of land somewhere.
We could.
Whether it was in this state or one of the other states that we want to move to, right? We could then go buy a piece of land, and then we could go to that land and we could just live there.
We could.
We wouldn't need jobs anymore, right?
Yeah.
We wouldn't need like internet or cell phones or communicate. Like we wouldn't need any of those things.
How would we? So there is part of me that's like, I would hermit that with you. And be happy.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be very happy. I'm kind of a loner. I'm very isolated and.
What do you mean?
I'm introverted. I don't feel like I need people. Really, I need some people. Okay. But I'm not like community.
Me neither.
However, I also know that community helps you be healthier.
Right.
So while my brain can be like, turn it down and just be us, I don't think that's
healthy.
I don't think it is, even though I'm thinking all naked all the time. We have our food, we have our sex, we have our fun.
Tell me, it's going to be lots of blowjobs.
I would just be I would be happy, but I feel like we need people too.
I agree.
And we're not going to agree on the same people, because there's people you would want around that I'm like, ugh. And same, and vice versa, I'm sure.
It's not like we're inviting people that we know.
Well, why not? I'm sorry. I don't know how to imagine this world small. And just that I have to see, here's all of these things. Do I think we could do it?
What if the goal of this thought, or what if the goal of this thing that we may or may not could do?
I think we could.
Is separating from money.
I was talking about community. It had nothing to do with money.
I know, but like at the core of like what we've been talking about, money is such a fucking bad thing and such an issue. And we grow
our own?
We're like slaves to it in a sense.
Yes.
Where we, like you said, we're living that way. We're not living the hunter-gatherer. We're not even remotely close to. Right? We don't have a car. We don't harvest any food. We don't do any of those things. Yeah. We're directly connected to money. We need more money so that we can then live the life that we want to live. Use
more money to buy the simpler things too, right?
What if we just got rid of the money part of it?
How I would love that, but how? That's the part where my brain goes.
See, that's the part that I can see so clearly, because it's just that separation. Yeah. It's the willingness to let go of all of these comforts that we have. Yeah. So you're going to have to get comfortable with shitting in a bucket. You're going to have to get comfortable with being really cold and uncomfortable and wet and not having clean clothes and not having showered, having no electricity and no light. All of these things you're going to have to get really comfortable with. Or
can you see my hesitation already?
Yeah.
I'm like, you lost me at shitting in a bucket. I'm like, that's a problem.
Or shitting in a hole in the ground, right?
Pampered. I have never pooped outside.
That's something we should probably fix.
I don't know how to just I can squat and pee. I'm an outside peer. I am an outside pee kind of girl.
Well, lucky for you.
But I am not an outside poop kind of girl.
I got to timestamp this right now because we're about to have a really important lesson on how the human body works.
I know how it works.
So if you can squat and pee, turns out you can squat and shit.
No, that is not a fact. Okay,
let me explain what happens.
Right there, because my body has a whole different thing. I've got a brain in my butt, okay? And it says if I'm not on a toilet, it's not happening. Swear, you're such a shit. But I'm going to take your notepad away. I don't like it anymore.
That was perfect. That's the reality of it, right?
I guess I would figure it out eventually, but I would probably take me a good couple of weeks and some severe issues.
That's how we got to this life. That's how we went from hunters and gatherers to this life, because we wanted to be comfortable. Mm-hmm. We wanted to be safe, and then we just continued down that. Right? But are you willing to be uncomfortable in order to separate from this fucking thing? Because this thing is so fucked right now.
I am mixed.
What level of uncomfortableness are you willing to go?
I'm mixed. I think I can't say 100%. I can say starting with a 20% decrease. Oh, hear me out.
I'm listening.
And then work my way to it. Right now, 0 to 100%. Only way I could do it is if this world flip happened, if I was forced into it. Okay. But I figure it out. But consciously being able to do it, realistically, I need to wean myself down. Could I do it steps at a time and get to 100%? Yeah, I could.
So there's a lot of people, obviously, that go and live off grid, right? And it's not to say that they're shitting in buckets or holes or something like that. Mm-hmm. There's a happy place in the middle. Yeah. Where you can have, oh my goodness, excuse me. Solar power, wind power, collect your rainwater. Like there's all of these things.
Yeah, I would like some of those things.
So you can live comfortably, but still live off the grid in a sense.
Can we do that?
We can.
That's more my speed.
Yeah.
Let's figure out that. I'm happy to get on an exercise bike and pedal for electricity.
And it's not to say that I don't give, when I say I don't give two shits, I'm not concerned.
Not in a toilet.
I have the ability to squat and shit. The whole thing for me isn't like I want to be off the grid because I don't want to be connected to like the power company and the government. Like there's a part of me.
That's a hell of a selling point for me.
Well, there's a part of me that like agrees with, I hate the fact that we, like I was thinking about taxes the other day and just how asininely the idea, like I'm not opposed to paying taxes to live in society, but holy shit. Like the most evilest person ever came up with the idea of taxes, and then the rest of the world ran with it because they're just taking money from us.
Yeah.
It's
and
not
it's
like
going
our
to salaries.
it's obviously they're not. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I would be all for taxes if we actually could see the benefit of it.
Instead of
and it's not to say that
watching politicians just get richer than
exactly.
fuck.
Anyways, so I'm not necessarily wanting to live off grid so that we can stick it to the man and not be part of it.
That's a selling point for me. That's
for
part
me.
of it.
It's
that's
more
the
about
charm.
the simplicity of that life, the stress that will disappear. And I know that there'd be plenty of other stresses, right? It's not to say the grass would always be greener over there.
Yeah.
But the whole idea that suddenly we wouldn't have to come up with some way to make money in order to sustain our life. If we could separate from that, I would be so happy.
It would.
And it's not to say I'm not happy now. I don't need that to be really happy. But the idea that suddenly we could just take that stress and yet still live, like we're still, do you know what I mean? Because you and I could live that life. We could live in this yurt where we have, do you know what I mean? Some sort of like composting toilet and like our nice little vegetable garden, and I harvest deer, you know, all these things. We could do all of those things.
We could do all those things.
And we would be so fucking happy. And then we wouldn't have to have some sort of like, well, we got to figure out what are we going to do when we retire? What do you mean when we retire?
That goes through my head a lot. I'm like,
what are we going to do when we retire?
No, what are we going to do when we're old?
Right?
Retirement.
Yeah, when we're 90.
What the fuck are we going to do?
What are we going to do?
Hopefully we got a good garden. We need to start gardening now.
I don't think gardening's going to fix the what are we going to do when we're 90.
That's a help.
I agree. We need to start gardening.
Everybody needs vegetables.
Yeah.
Come on now. Vegetables and some fruits.
So I think you and I should start putting this in our pot.
Let's do it.
And coming up with some...
At what point off grid are you going to let go of the podcast then?
Right.
At what point do you say, this is it, folks? It's been real.
I mean, we could. That's the whole thing. Like there's a part of it.
Real good.
There's a part of it that just is so freeing to think that all of that's gone.
Would you still talk to me like this once a week?
Absolutely. Think of the conversations. We have conversations like this regardless of the podcast. I'm
trying to be funny. Write that on your list. Steph made a joke.
49 minutes in, Steph makes a joke. Steph joke.
Oh no.
There we go.
Let's not. It's like dad joke. Let's not make Steph joke a thing.
Steph joke's already a thing. And they're
they're
so good.
I have good things in my life. I mean, things that I'm good at in my life.
Would you like to start moving towards some other way of living like that?
Absolutely. 100%. I am in. Am I in to go 100%? No, but I am 100% in to start working my way down or up that percentage, that percentile. Yes, absolutely.
Because by the time we're 90, maybe we're living that way. You know, maybe we've been living that way for the last 20 years by the time we're 90. So then it's just simply, oh my God.
Even at 90, can you believe that? I bet.
Like, oh.
If we were living like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So nice. Connected to the earth. How much money do you have? We don't have money. I don't know what you're talking about. We don't have money. We don't need money.
We need, yeah.
Yeah. We live here.
Yeah.
Well, what do you do? Whatever the fuck we want. She sucks my dick like 3 times a day.
Baby, how are we going to have time for anything else if you're just getting blowjobs all day?
Don't know what other time we would need.
All right, I guess we're going to need a sister wife because I'm going to need breaks.
What else was on my list? This stuff has been really kicking around a lot. And I think that the more we can start to move towards it, just in our everyday life right now, the better off we're going to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do too. You're going to have to give up LaCroix.
That's okay.
You're going to be all right with that?
Just water. Yeah.
I actually want to buy... See how fast? I'm like, we're going to do this. I already know what the first purchase I'm going to make.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah. I want to figure out how to filter water. Like I want to buy a bunch of water filtering things to get us started, but I want to figure out how to naturally filter like water. Because I know we can get the rain. I know we can do a little bit of the humidity trips, but we're going to need like large quantities.
Yeah.
I know you can drink your pee like twice before you can't. There's something like that. Look it up. How many times can you drink your pee and stay hydrated? There's a thing.
I mean, there's all these unknown factors.
Like dirty water. We come up to some stagnant, gross water. How do we
drink that water? Yeah, there's ways. You got to learn them.
I got to learn them.
You got to learn the ways of your ancestors.
I have to.
And figure out how to drink dirty water, or better yet, just how to source clean water.
Yes, but
there's wells and stuff.
Can you dig a well with your hands, Craig? Where are you going to get that fucking long shovel? How are you going to do this?
How do you think we dug wells before we had machinery?
I have no idea.
Right? I don't know either. It's not to say we have to dig a well. Obviously,
Google
there's places for...
How do you dig a well with... How did they dig a... Oh, Jesus.
How do they dig a well before we had heavy machinery?
I can't even say it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I think we have a goal in mind.
I think we do too.
Living as self-sustaining as possible, right? If we have to be connected to the grid so that we have some electricity, are you okay sacrificing a flushing toilet?
That's not going to be the first thing to go.
Because we can always do like a septic tank. You know, you can do the whole thing.
That's also a flushing toilet. But then what happens? You know what happens when that septic tank gets full?
That's what I'm saying is you're still connected to society in some... There's a way we can either live completely as...
The toilet is not going to be the first thing I let go of. Toilet is probably more towards like 80-90% in. Probably, it might even be 100%. Toilet might be the last thing I let go of.
I think as soon as you started shitting in the woods, you'd be all right.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. You'd be like, this ain't bad. We can do this as much as we need to.
I can't poop in a public restroom. And that's a flushing toilet.
Think of all of those...
How do you expect me to be able to, like...
Think of all those weird, eccentric kind of anxiety things that you have that would just disappear.
Would they?
I think they really would. Yeah. I think they really would just disappear.
I don't know.
Think about just the mind fuck of how different things would be if we had to sustain our own lives that way, where it wasn't as easy as hopping in the car and going down to the fucking store.
I've been camping for days where the only thing we had was an outhouse. And you know what?
That's not even remotely close to the same.
There was poop outside option, and there was poop in an outhouse.
And you did neither?
And I did neither.
But what I'm saying is...
We just contained until we got home.
Part of living that way is hard because you expend so much time and energy on just sustaining your life. So much time and energy on gardening, on hunting, on, building your shelter. Just the sustainment of life does not leave room for you to be anxious about shitting.
I've driven home to poop. From perfectly good toilets. I'm like, hey, I gotta poop. I gotta go. I can't get I don't know. Toilets are my hang up.
Yeah, I think you'd be all right.
I
really do think you'd be all right.
I have gratitude.
Maybe
for
that's where we start.
With the toilet?
No. Maybe one small step
is
that
not
we
gonna
can
be
make
the toilet.
Is next time we go camping, you shit in the woods.
It's not, my butt won't do it. It's my mind says I will do it. It's not like a stance. It's not a pride. Like, excuse me, I am too good. I have tried. I have squatted and bared down. It does not happen. My butt is like, no, no. I do not have power over my ass. Okay. It's physically impossible for me. You think it's a choice. It's not a choice.
I'm familiar. I have the same hangups.
Oh, no, you don't. You've shit in the woods.
Yeah, but that was not an easy thing for me to do.
But you did it. And your butt said, yes, I will. I can do
this.
That's
why I say I know that it's possible. Because I used to be the same way.
What are you going to do?
Oh, what was that?
Nothing.
What was that?
Nothing.
Come again?
I didn't come for the first time yet, so...
What were you going to say?
I don't remember. I'm really a I can't believe I'm not going to be able to poop in a toilet. What am I going to do? I have gotten comfortable with the toilet. That is...
That's why money is what it is today.
It's because
people wanted to shit in toilets.
I think that might have been the cause. I really do.
Right?
Okay. I don't need first class, but I need my home throne.
Your home throne. Episode 264, Home Throne.
Oh,
Thank you for the title of this episode, Stephanie. It's on the list.
All right. Jesus.
I had one other thing.
I don't know if I can divert away from this. I'm just like, I'm 100% focused on things right now.
Okay. So this is going to be really hard, and I'm going to do my best to try to get this thought out. This thought came to me recently. I don't remember when. So I'm going to read what I wrote. No, I'm not going to read it out loud. I'm going to read it to myself. Okay.
I'm going to drink some water.
Yeah, drink some water. This is actually really interesting. Maybe I should save this for another episode.
Well, then do that. Unless we have time to get into it. If we don't,
all the time in the world, right? It's our fucking life. It's our fucking podcast.
We actually don't have all the time in the world.
Okay. Are you ready for this thought?
Do you think we have time?
Okay. I do. So, the ocean, right?
Okay.
It's a big deal. Mm-hmm. The majority of this planet is the ocean, right? We know that. Mm-hmm. So there's more ocean than there is land.
Yes.
Okay. And if you think about land, basically everything's an island.
Yes.
Which means it's coming up from the ocean.
Yes.
Right?
So our water planet.
That's what it is.
Yes.
It's a water planet. Be careful with your fucking phone.
This is the land. I'm showing land and here's the
water. You're going to drop your fucking phone. You're giving me a fucking heart attack there. So...
Why is it? Because it costs money?
We are a water planet, and all the land that is above water is either like a mountain that grew or water that receded.
Okay.
Right? And it's probably more that it's...
Oh, goodness.
I bet it's more that just the land grew. Like it's all just stuff that grew out of the water eventually.
Okay.
It's not to say that water receded, because I think we probably have... Anyways, that's not important.
Okay.
But the idea is that we're a water planet.
Okay.
What if, what if, like, because what I was seeing in my head was like everything flipped around. Okay. So what if, because we're a water planet, that's really, so everything that's in the water, all of those fish, all of the, like the species that, we know that there's like so many species in the ocean that we don't even know.
We know more about space than we do about the ocean.
Right? It's this huge vastness that we have no idea what lives down there.
Yes.
What if that's really the world?
What do you mean?
What I mean is, what if that's really like the world?
Okay, you just said the same thing. I didn't understand it the first time.
Let me say it a third time. What if that's really the world?
Oh.
See, now you get it.
No, please.
What if, because I was thinking about like the level of communication that creatures under the ocean have.
Okay.
So whales, dolphins, those things that we tend to think of as being more smart under the water. But we watched that documentary about the octopus. Obviously, that octopus was super smart. But this idea that we think we're smarter than the creatures that are below the water.
Oh, okay.
This idea that below the water isn't really the real world. The real world is this area up here above the land. So what if the real world is below the water? Mm-hmm. And below the water, they tell stories
about dumbasses?
Everything that's above land.
Okay.
But it's not like they are these dumbasses. They tell these stories of this unknown stuff. Okay. They don't know, like they know more about their world than they know about, like how you said we know more about space than we know about the ocean. Mm-hmm. They know more about the depths of the ocean than they know about land. So land to them is this foreign place where they're like, is it really there? I don't think it's really there. Maybe it is really there. And then they're like, have you ever seen a human?
Goes on and on and on. We know what the borders of the water is.
Imagine how confusing it would be when a human came down into the real world.
Okay.
And they would be like, what the fuck? I saw an alien today. There was a bunch of aliens. And then there's like alien spacecraft.
Tom ate some. Did you see that? What they taste like? Chicken. No.
But that's like the thought I had was just like, what if that's the real world and we're living in this imaginary, like hard to even fathom place that isn't really real? Or what if, because there's amphibians, what if amphibians are like the go-between, like the energetic creature that can go between worlds, right? They can travel from the real world and out into this other.
They're the hippies, and nobody listens to what they're saying.
Right?
They're like, just smoking too much
But they can go
seaweed.
back and forth between the two worlds. And they come back and they're like, you should really, like, there's these people. What? They're called people. They're called humans. And they walk and they breathe air and they're like, what are you talking about? you're making this shit up. You're fucking crazy. And they're like, no, really. And they're like, you just got high. Right. And the amphibians are like, nope, I've been out there. I've seen those places. I've seen what they do. Right. What if?
That could be a thing.
It was just this really like weird thought that I had of like.
Were you watching The Little Mermaid?
I don't remember what I was doing other than I was really fucking high.
Yeah, you were.
And I'm like, I'm pretty sure that we're living in like outer space for the water.
Yeah.
Right.
That's pretty cool.
And then like maybe the reason why mammals like whales and dolphins and things like that are super smart, killer whales are super smart, right? Is because they can go back and forth because they have the ability to breathe outside of water.
But if they get on the beach, they're like, oh.
Right? Because then they got to get back in the water. So for the, I don't know, this thought.
I'm just say I want to connect with the orcas. If that's it, I want to be an orca.
But what if the orcas are like so vastly more intelligent than we are?
I think they are.
And we just don't realize it because we're these dumb fucking monkeys.
I think they are.
That crawled out of the water 2 million years ago. And we're walking around up here on this fucking land where
still peeing on
like
people.
It's hot, we're exposed to the sun, and we're trying to kill each other, and we're constantly like blowing shit up and down below the water. It's not to say bad things or, death and destruction doesn't happen below the water, but at the same time, it's like, I think we really fucked up by leaving the ocean.
Yeah.
I think this planet
Ooh.
is supposed to be a water planet, and we fucked up by leaving the water.
Okay, now you got me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What hit for you?
That we fucked up leaving the water.
We should still be in the water.
Still be in the water.
Right?
That hit. That was like, hey man, like I'm right. Okay.
Right. And how naive and foolish and like blind are we to think that this is the real world?
That's why we have money. That's
right.
What happened. Oh wow.
Now you're high.
Ouch. I am.
Okay. Let's wrap up.
Okay.
Anything you want to close with? Go watch us on.
Is it you can
Rumble?
watch on Rumble? Like
yeah,
you
it's
can
videos.
see us? Is it, I don't.
It's a video platform, so it's like YouTube. So yeah, you can go watch it. Sort of putting up our episodes there.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's other places to
Do
listen.
they allow nudity
On Rumble?
Yes.
I don't know. That's a good
Should we
question.
try?
Take your top off.
I was just thinking, like, should I
Flash some
should
titties.
I
Let's see if we can
pump
get it
up?
up on fucking Rumble. And then go follow us on Instagram. Our Instagram presence is blowing up. In some way.
There's a really hot guy making some reels. Just saying.
This fucking guy
Get your man candy on.
that's finally getting the hang of trying to make a reel in less than 35 minutes. I think I'm down to like 10 or 15 minutes.
I can make a reel for you right now.
And
Do you want to see a reel?
hold on. I work really hard at trying to
Make
figure
a
this
reel.
out and make content, and then 4 fucking people watch it. But that's okay. We'll keep going. Because we're doubling the podcast this year. High five.
Energy is love, team. Help us out.
Bam. Energy is love. Tune in next week.
Who knows if we'll be here?
We will be here. We will be here. I love you.
I love you.